The Greater Toronto Area housing market is splitting in early 2025. If you are selling a home that is listed for less than $1.25 million, you're probably seeing a little bit of competition for that property, maybe some active open houses and showing activity, but the story is completely different at higher price points, or if you're trying to sell a condo. With condo demand at record lows and higher price point freehold properties not really moving, it seems like buyers are gaining more and more leverage. Let's break it all down. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Rob Marsiglio, a realtor out here in Durham region, serving the entire GTA. Each week on this channel, my goal is to bring you data, numbers, and insights to help you make better, data-driven, smarter decisions when it comes to your home buying and home selling. Today, we're looking at the GTA and how the market is splitting, depending on what price point you are trying to sell or what you're looking in. It's a tale of many different markets right now. So we're going to look at what price points are still moving, where do buyers have the most leverage, and if you're planning to sell your home, what you should be expecting during the process. Let's dive into it. Let's start with freeholds. This is a very busy chart, so let me just break it down quickly. The light gray and light red are active listings and sales activity from February 2nd of 2024. This dotted line is where months of inventory stood in early 2024. And then the dark black and dark red bars and the solid orange line is a reading that I took on January 29th of 2025, so roughly a year apart. You can see that if you're looking in the sub $750,000 range in the freehold side, it's a market that really almost doesn't exist. We have just shy of 300 active listings out of almost 8,500 active freehold listings across the board. The bulk of your inventory sits in this $750,000 to $1.5 million range. And if you look at the bottom of the chart, I have the months of inventory highlighted, this kind of year over year comparison to roughly the same time last year. You can see that it's still relatively competitive compared to the rest of the market. But even from last year, these markets are slower in terms of sales activity relative to the number of active listings we have out there. The big drop off that you will notice is when you get above this 1.25 million mark, you go from 2.86 months of inventory to 3.76 months of inventory. This takes us from a technical seller's market, less than 1.25 million, up into balanced market territory for a short while in this price bracket. And then when we get above 1.5 million, you really get into kind of technical buyer's market territory. Just so you have an idea, pause the video very quickly here. This is what it looks like above the $2 million mark. If you're buying right now, what has your experience been like? Do you feel like you're facing a lot of competition? Or do you feel a little bit more in control than you have in the past? Let me know in the comments below. As for what is happening with kind of condo demand, here's the chart that I share every single Monday over on Twitter, Threads, and Bluesky. Follow me so you don't miss any update every single week. But you can see the trend for months of inventory is being trending upwards, higher peaks and higher troughs ever since kind of May of 2022 when I started tracking this number. And when we do a similar exercise and break it down by price brackets, by listing price points right across the Greater Toronto Area, you can see that our tightest market, that sub $500,000 condo market, you still have over 5 months of inventory there, and that just gradually increases all the way up to just under 12 months of inventory, so a year's worth of inventory for listings that are priced over $1.25 million. Now, while you are definitely seeing some more competition in that sub $1.25 million freehold market, it's not the same level of competition you were seeing from, call it, middle of 2020 to early 2022, where everything was selling instantly for way over asking. And a great example of this is a property that I showed up in Newmarket this past week, listed for $1.2 million, a detached home. They're holding an offer night at that price, so their expectation was probably a little more money than that. The day that we showed the property, we received notification that a preemptive offer or a bully offer was registered on the home. They kind of pushed us to bring an offer too. They said there were multiple interested parties. Long story short, only one offer came out of this whole preemptive offer situation, which they presented to the sellers, and the home was updated as sold conditional the next day. So we didn't see it sell, in a short time on the market for way over asking in a firm deal. The buyer was still able to get a condition in there to protect themselves to some degree. So again, just a different experience. Even though there is more competition, it's not so much competition that buyers are having to give up their rights to conditions of inspections or financing or whatever that may be. So I've highlighted that the market is really splitting when it comes to the freehold price point you are either trying to sell or search in. It's splitting when it comes to freehold versus condo properties, but it's also splitting based on the seller and when that seller bought the home. So, and this is kind of a expectation split is what I'm calling it. We are seeing purchasers that bought, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago or more that didn't really refinance heavily, they're coming to market with more realistic price expectations because I think they're seeing how prices are trending and maybe trying to just get out of the market with whatever equity and as much capital out of the transaction as they can. It's the other segment of the market, people that have bought since maybe mid 2020, maybe 2021, early 2022, or people that have really refinanced, taken a lot of equity out of their homes to fund their lifestyles that have just kind of built up bigger mortgage balances now that they really cannot afford to sell their homes for what market value demands right now. So you're seeing that big split in the market there. And it's really evident by the number of terminations we're seeing in the market this year compared to previous years. You can see that in 2025, our listing termination and expiries numbers on the freehold side are the highest they've been since 2019, 2018. And then you have to go all the way back to 2009, 2008 to see kind of similar termination and expiry numbers. And on the condo side, we've seen more terminations and expiries through 28 days of January than we've seen in any other year since 2008 and probably beyond. So how should you be approaching the market if you're in it right now, or how am I trying to advise my clients at this point in time? If it's a freehold buyer under $1.25 million, expect competition, expect to have to act quickly because there seems to be a little bit of buyer urgency for properties that are priced well, but don't give up your negotiating power. If you can't get a condition in there, it's not the end of the world. I do expect more inventory to come to market February, March. I'm thinking inventory will peak, at least active listings, like it always does in that kind of May, June range. If you're shopping for a more expensive property than that, or a condo, I think practicing patience is of the utmost importance right now. There's lots of inventory out there. Those markets are not moving as quickly. You have a little bit more time, and definitely do your due diligence, get your conditions in those offers. As a sellers, it's the exact flip side of that coin. If you're selling a freehold property for less than $1.25 million, that's your expectation. Expect maybe some more competition, but not necessarily crazy bidding wars like we saw in the past. And if you're trying to sell something that's a condo or above that $1.5 million mark, just temper those expectations. I'm not saying you won't get your price, but you might have to hold out a little bit longer for your price. Still price realistically, obviously, but just don't expect it to be snapped up in an instant. If you're selling right now, how are you approaching the market? Are you seeing lots of activity? Are you seeing many offers and lots of competition for your product? Or is it the opposite? Let me know in the comments below. To wrap this up and put it simply, some price brackets and products seem to be moving while others are not. But across the board, it does feel like buyers across the Greater Toronto area have a little bit more control and negotiating power than they have in years. Is this a trend that will continue? I will make sure to update these charts in a video next month just to show you how we are performing across different price brackets. So if you enjoyed the content of today's video, if you got some value out of the insights I provided, please subscribe to the channel and like the video so you don't miss any updates going forward. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home and you want to have a chat with me about strategy, all my information is down in the description of this video. There is a Calendly link where you can book a call with me directly in my calendar to talk about the market. Thanks so much for sticking with me right through to the end of another video. Until we speak again next time, please stay safe and cheers.